قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Save yourself and your family from the hellfire. And so, one of the core teachings in Islam is recognizing the importance of family. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever gets married has fulfilled half of their iman. Half of their iman. This is a big deal. And he said, ﷺ, and he put all the khayriyah in this, all the goodness in this. He said, خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِ. The best of you are those who are best to their families. وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِ. He said, and I am the best to my family. Giving himself as an example for us ﷺ to follow. And so, we have to really look at what's going on today. The family unit is under attack. You know, there's many issues, of course, we can talk about. But one of the core things that's leading to all of these issues is fundamentally people are not educated well inside the home. There's trouble inside the home. People have trouble. They grow up in an oppressive family. They see things that that scar them for life. And so when they grow up, they're psychologically damaged. When they grow up, they have lost all faith in humanity. And if you cannot show kindness to the people closest to you, if you cannot have mercy to your own mother, right? What's going to happen with the rest of humanity? All these mass shootings, all these killing that's happening, all these intolerant ways of behavior that you see spring up, not just among Muslims, everywhere, in every community. And Muslims, they have, we have our own share of problems. But all of these problems, the scholars have said, it could be traced back down to how the family structure is being torn apart. And now you have movements, serious, like probably with agenda behind it, people funding it and everything, individualism. Right? Children grow up and they tell their parents, it's my life. Right? I live for myself, not for you, not for them, not for anybody. I do what I want to do. And this individualistic mentality, this egotism that's being spread everywhere, it is breaking people's families apart, and it's creating this selfish thing that inside the people. Even those that have families, they cannot maintain the family. Because even though it's a husband and a wife, the husband says nafsi, nafsi, wife says nafsi, nafsi. It's my way. It's what I want. It's what's going to benefit me. And they're living together, but they're not one. And so, this problem, it's a very serious problem. And as Muslims, we have to be vigilant and we have to be very careful in protecting at least our own families. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Save yourself. وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Save yourself and your family from the hellfire. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, at the end of time, the fitna of Dajjal will be so bad. It will be so severe. He said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you'll have to tie up your woman inside the house to protect them from this fitna. He said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a man will leave his house in the morning as a believer, come back as a disbeliever. The fitna is very severe. And to protect ourselves, we have to go back to the basics. We have to go back to the basics. What was the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? How did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam deal with children? How did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam deal with his family? What is his example sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? How did he manage all of these things? And when we look at his example, then we can start establishing families that are functional families, that produce functional human beings, that is going to benefit this community, that is going to benefit humanity. Otherwise, forget it. We just keep producing people that's going to cause greater and greater harm, and humanity is going more and more downhill. And so, the Prophet ﷺ, one time, and just give you a scene from his life. One time, ﷺ, he was at home with some guests, and Aisha radiallahu anha, she was known to be a bad cook. People didn't like her cooking. And so she made some food, trying to serve the guests, and she's working hard. And what happened, one of the other wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she felt, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's guests are there, I should help out. So she made some food and she sent it over. And so somebody's coming in with the food, and as they entered the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, who sent this? He says, your wife so-and-so sent this, Ya Rasulullah. And Aisha radiallahu anha is over there, she hears this and she gets very angry. Anger reaches the top and she loses control. She jumps up and she smashes the plate from under it. And the whole food goes flying in the air and falls on the ground, and the guests are sitting there looking at this whole thing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is there looking at this whole thing. And put yourself in the shoes of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are a husband. Okay, you have guests coming to your house, and your wife does something like this. She smashes the food, everything's on the ground, and she's angry. How do you react? What is going to be our reaction? Most often, I don't know about you, it could be anger. I know for a fact if something like that happened to me, if I saw something like this, I'd immediately interpret it as disrespect. Or interpret it as incompetence or whatever. Right? So our minds are wired to go to negative things first. That's why it's a sunnah and it is ibadah to have good opinion of other people. Rasulullah ﷺ said, have good opinion of the believers. He said, have good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because it's a struggle to do that. He said, give 70 excuses before you accuse somebody. Right? It's not easy to do that. Because naturally, first thing our minds go to is negative things. And so Rasulullah ﷺ, he just smiled. And he said to his guests, this happened because of jealousy. And he went and he started picking up the food, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What a man, what an example to set. This happened, he gave her an excuse. She's not a bad person, she's just jealous. It happened because of jealousy. And jealousy, everybody understands. It's a feeling that can come up in these situations. It's natural. And so Rasulullah ﷺ defended her, and he just went and picked up the food. All the problems were solved. One time, of course, he ﷺ had issues in the family. There was arguments. It's natural. And these events took place in his life to teach you and me how to behave with our families. One time, Rasulullah ﷺ got into an argument with Aisha radiallahu anha, and they couldn't settle the argument. Nowadays, if there is an argument, we can't settle the argument, ends up in divorce. 50% rate, divorce rate. Even in Muslim communities, over 50%. This is serious. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah, hasn't made anything permissible that He hates except divorce. One of the things that Allah hates, that He has made it permissible, is divorce. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Shaitan is working hard to split up families. People, Shaitan, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's got his throne established on water. And he sends out his minions, go do your mischief, go do your harm. And these jinn, they see you from places you cannot see them. They come into the house, they come into the families, and they start putting thoughts in the minds of the man, in the minds of the woman. And the smallest thing, agitation, starts to explode, and what happens? They go back and they report. Iblis will say, what have you done? He says, I did this. He says, that's nothing. What about you? I did this and that. He says, that's nothing. One of them will say, I didn't leave them alone. I didn't leave them alone. I kept creating problems for them. Problem after problem after problem. I kept coming to her saying this, kept going to him saying this, until they hated each other, until they divorced one another. Iblis will say, you have won the competition of the throne. You can be in my seat for the night. He's the president of the shayateen for the night. This is a big competition among shayateen. Rasulullah ﷺ told us about this reality. This is their work. They're doing this. Day and night they're working hard. And so, they got into an argument, and the Prophet ﷺ and Aisha, they couldn't settle. She said, no, I'm right. He said, no, you're not right, I'm right. And they said, finally, okay. Rasulullah ﷺ said, let's bring an arbitrator. Who should we bring? Should I ask Omar to come and judge between us? Aisha radiallahu anha said, no way. Omar is too tough. I can't, he's going to side with you. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, should I bring Sa'ad radiallahu anhu? He said, Sa'ad loves you too much. He's going to side with you. I said, okay, what about your father, Abu Bakr? She felt, okay, my father is good. Because, father-daughter relationship is one of the most precious relationships. And so, he called Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and he came in. And Aisha radiallahu anha, and Rasulullah sallallahu is sitting there, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, would you like to go first, or should I go first? Look at the respect that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave her. It's not, you woman, shut up, you don't know anything, let me speak. No. Would you like to go first, or should I go first? She said, you go first, and make sure you don't skip anything. Make sure you don't lie, make sure you speak the truth. At this, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu exploded with anger. Because Aisha radiallahu anha, Rasulullah said, they're husband and wife. They can say things like this to each other. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he's looking at the messenger of Allah, the prophet of God, the one who's receiving message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Sadiq and Ameen, and his daughter, who just spoke to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam like that. Right? So he explodes with anger, he raises his hands, he's about to hit Aisha radiallahu anha. And Rasulullah ﷺ, he stands up in Aisha radiallahu anha, she runs behind the Prophet ﷺ, hiding, defending, hiding behind the Prophet ﷺ, looking for safety. And Rasulullah ﷺ stops Abu Bakr and says, "Oh Abu Bakr, I could have raised my hand too. I have hands. If that's what needs to be done, I can do that too. That's not why I called you here. That's not why I called you." And Aisha radiallahu anha, she's hiding behind him, she's speaking, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anha is furious, he leaves. And Rasulullah ﷺ turns around and says, "You see how I saved you from your father?" And she starts laughing, and he starts laughing. Right? All that tension that was building up, argument, all of it is gone. Why? Because underneath all of that there was genuine love. There was genuine love.